Yeah, we're continuing to do this amazing thing, which is Tales of Xadia, Legends of Grayscale, two big properties that we are very excited by. The internal playtesting has gone very well for Tales of Xadia. Stay tuned soon for
Wink,
some more.
wink, wink. Like,
Yep.
pay attention to everything, all our channels in the next day or two,
Yeah, if
to,
you
to
haven't been
see.
following us on
Yeah.
social media, do that now.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Follow us, join Discord, follow us on social media, and you will, be probably pleasantly surprised in the next day or two. So yeah,
Oh
keep your
yeah.
eyes peeled.
And our machine has been spinning up, and as always, lots of amazing artwork keeps coming in for both these properties. We've been getting writing done. I'm just thrilled. I mean, it's been a huge pleasure to be interacting with the folks who have licensed this with us, and also these amazing, talented people who do the art. And it, yeah, every day is a new thing that we see on our inboxes.
Very exciting. There's a lot of internal playtesting going on right now. Public playtesting for Tales of Xadia is very, very soon. We're going to get into a new aspect of design that has come up in Tales of Zadia that I
Mhm.
personally, am a huge fan of this, and I think it's going to, again, as I said earlier, have some ramifications across all of Cortex, and refining that into some of even future games that we might make with Cortex. So Cam, take this one away.
Yeah, something that we've really liked the idea of is characters that may start out not necessarily being villains or heroic allies or anything like that, but just important pivotal characters which the player characters can influence and steer over in one way or another. And the coolest part about it is not only will these catalysts, or what we're calling these important narrator or GM characters, not only are they going to grow and change as characters, the player characters interact with them, but the more you might interact with one, bring them to your side, that may make another catalyst who's in the same tale turn against you. So you're taking sides. Maybe you want to try and balance it out in the middle of it. There'll be some difficult choices to make with catalysts in the game. The inspiration for this also, our narrative lead Dan Telfer and I were working through an idea of this. How do we make really exciting tales that you can have replayability value? So when you're playing your stories and with your friends, if you go back later on and talk to someone else who played the same tale, can you say, "Oh yeah, we had this thing where this one character was really amazing, became our best friend." They might say, "What? That person was the arch villain of our story. How did that happen?" And it's all because we have this mechanic of making them change and grow and respond to the activity that the players put into it.
I'm really, really excited to see how Catalyst are going to play out, and excited for people to get their hands on them, and excited to hear the stories that, well, in my game, Catalyst, this Catalyst did this, and see, what most groups are using and how these catalysts are behaving. So, really, really excited to see where this goes, and I think it's going to be yet another one of those really interesting pieces of Cortex that's going to capture the world of the Dragon Prince in such a great way, and really retain the spirit of what makes that animated series so great. All right, let's get into some art. So this is some concept art that we're sharing at this point, for some of the characters that these are characters they're going to see in the playtest, right?
I believe that's correct. That's the six characters, the playtest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually end up in the full book at some point, likely to kind of represent some of the archetype, type characters that you could play in the game. So yeah, really, really excited about this. It's exciting seeing characters come to life within the show, but then it's been this whole other experience of being able to put our own spin on some of these characters that are not in the show, that the team's creating and drawing together. So yeah, really excited to see. How do you say it, Cam? I say Dion. Is that what you say, or do you say something else? Diane.
I've been saying Diane. I think
Diane. Yeah.
Diane is just fine. You can say pronounce them however you like. I think Wind is the one that we all know how to say.
Yeah.
Uh,
Diane though, like he is just killing it over there. I'm in love with what I'm seeing there. But yeah, all of these look really, really great. And I can't wait to see people be able to try them out very soon.
Also, very important to note that we are incredibly fortunate to have the talents from some folks who worked on the Dragon Prince to be our artists for this new content. So we've gone straight to the source for it.
Yep. And then I think that gets us to questions. So, all right, let's see. Craig Clee, will there be official published adventures for Tales? I'm going to say yes, and then let Cam elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, the idea of the catalysts that we mentioned earlier is a good lead into this idea. We're going to be doing adventures, which we call tales. Uh, that's why it's Tales of Xadia. These scenarios and things will be heavily featuring catalysts as a building block of how they're going to work, with a really intense sort of approach to how we want to make it replayable, and so how each person who runs the game and plays the game can enjoy it in a different way but still have the same experience. I think everyone who comes together to write adventures for RPGs has the same idea. Oh, it'll be the holy grail. We'll do the one thing that makes everything better from how people have always done it. We don't really want to reinvent too many wheels, though. We know that adventures are great in general. People love them. They buy them because they want to take a lot of the prep off their hands, so to speak. But we also want to make it so that you can make it your own. And I think that's what we're planning on doing. Our forecast is generally trying to aim for something that ties into the show in a unique and cool way. And that's an opportunity we have that Wonderstorm's given us. And I think that's the biggest thing I can talk about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and it is public information. Just to really reiterate how cool that is. That official exploration of storyline between the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4. That's something that we're going to be doing, and nothing on that scale has been done before, and it's going to be really, really great for the Dragon Prince fans. It's going to be super cool to play through something and then watch the first episode of season 4 and say, hey, you know what? We did that in our group, and so yeah, that's definitely a plan for Tales of Xadia, for there to be that official content coming out. All right, let's see. Jason Sunday, how will players of heroes from different ancestries be recommended to be brought together? And I'm
Oh,
assuming that we're talking on the Dragon Prince side there, because that is an excellent question. And I think that, one thing that I'll say is that I probably won't go into what the easiest answer is, because it is absolutely a spoiler for some of the later seasons. But if you have watched all the seasons, there are some events that happen that make that potential melting pot that an adventuring group becomes a little bit of an easier barrier to cross. And so that's all I'll say without straying into spoilers there. But Cam, you got anything that wouldn't be spoilerish that you would note there?
I think I can tell you that we will be giving full rules and backgrounds and everything else for all 5 of the human kingdoms and 3 of the elven ones. I think we already know about the Sunfire Elves and the Moonshadow Elves from the show, but we also met Skywing Elves on the show as well, and there'll be a lot more information about them for folks who are into the idea of playing someone like Nyx or Ibis. As to how you can bring them all together, I think that we always want to default to there's an inn somewhere. We all walked in and someone gave us an adventure. Is that right? We're doing that one? We're not doing that one. Okay, we're not doing it.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So again, I'll go into spoilers too much if I continue here, but there will be ways that it is explained. Absolutely. All right, let's see. Look to A. What happened with Melly GMing Eidolon Alpha and Roland Keep? So I'll tackle this one. It really was a situation where we have a plethora, I like that word, plethora of things that we could be playing in Roland Keep. And looking out across the schedule several weeks ago, we thought it was a good idea to move into Eidolon Alpha after we wrapped the story with Hammerheads. It, Based on some other timing that you can make inferences about, if you would like to do so, it made a lot of sense for us to start with the Dragon Prince next or this week, actually. That would be tomorrow. And so, that being the case, we're going to jump into the Dragon Prince and Tales of Xadia starting tomorrow. But then after that wraps, then the idea would be for Eidolon Alpha, at least the current plan is for
Hmm.
Eidolon Alpha to be after this story arc kind of concludes on Tales of Xadia. So, voice games. How do primal magic spells compare mechanically to dark magic spells in Tales of Xadia? Or is dark magic a bit like blood magic in other fantasy TTRPGs? And players are discouraged from role playing as dark mage characters. Cam,
Mm.
what are your thoughts?
Little early to talk too much about dark mages. They are definitely going to play differently from primal mages, rune mages as we call them. Mostly because using dark magic does bring corruption. It's not necessarily the best thing to do, and of course, everyone hates people who use dark magic. That is not a surprise, unless they're Claudia and they can get away with it because they're so cute. Hashtag Team Claudia. I think in terms of mechanically speaking,
Cam is obsessed with Claudia. Like
well,
throughout this entire process, I've had to like, I don't think we should write about Claudia in this section. I don't think we should do artwork of Claudia in this section. But yes, everybody internally, big Claudia fans.
but that does mean that we don't want to take away from this idea that you can play a dark mage. Obviously, for most humans, in fact, almost every human character, the option of being a rune mage is not available to you unless you're Kellum and you're very special. But we will be pursuing those options for you. It'll be a playable thing you can play. Mechanically speaking, a little bit different, but with Cortex, a lot of the stuff seems to be flavor on top of some crunch. I think you'll see enough difference between the actual rules for it that you'll be happy with it, but not so different that you'll have to have an entire extra book of rules to do dark magic.
Well, I think it's really important to just understand and keep in mind one of the key conceits of Cortex is that the rules are supporting storytelling, it's coming back to what the show's story and that feel of that. There will be consequences just like it displays in the show, but at the same time it's like those consequences will play themselves out within the framework of the storytelling, and not necessarily in a system like a tertiary system of some sort that is going to make you keep track of ammunition or whatever you do in a lot of other games. So I would say that yeah, based on where things currently are as we're heading into playtest soon, that would be there's a difference, but we want those to have storytelling impacts as opposed to just mechanical impacts. Not to say that there won't be mechanical impacts, but we need to make sure the story is very strongly represented there. All right, let's see. Marrow Veus. Will Tales of Xadia be its own game, Cortex based, or will we need additional materials to dive in? Excellent question. Both Tales of Xadia and Legends of Grayskull are going to be considered uh, individual autonomous games. So you will not need additional Cortex products to play Tales of Xadia or Legends of Grayskull. Now, the idea is that the first product for both of those will be kind of required for anything that comes into those product lines later than that.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is you're getting a complete game, complete set of rules, even sample adventure in those initial game handbooks that are going to get you everything that you need to play.
Yeah. Yeah, and feel free to mess around with it once you have them with the tools in Cortex Prime, because the whole thing kind of runs fairly seamlessly under the hood. But yeah, we wouldn't want you to have to get the a whole bunch of extra books just so you can play the one you get.
Yeah, I think a really good way to put that is no, you don't need the Cortex Prime game handbook to play Tales of Xadia. It's not going to hurt for you to learn Cortex or any of those things, or to possibly use that for your own games, but you don't need it to play Tales of Xadia or Legends of Grayskull. Can't wait to see everything that's in store for Cortex. Join us tomorrow for Roll and Keep, that is going to be jumping into the fantastical world of Xadia with the debut of our Tales of Xadia game. It'll be a great way to see what's going on with the Dragon Prince for Cortex. Jump into that tomorrow. What time is that? I'm always bad at translating to Pacific time. 2 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Join us then.
3
Is it 3?
3 p.m.
3
Pacific.
p.m. Pacific. 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow for Roll and Keep. Join us then, and join us here next week for another prime time. We'll see you later, Gators.